Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. The Georgia Bulldogs get it done again on the 2024 high school recruiting trail, landing four-star linebacker Kristopher Jones from the state of Virginia. And that is, less than a week after Justin Williams, the number one linebacker in the class, commits to the Georgia Bulldogs. Glenn Schumann, Kirby Smart, building a very special class on the defensive side of the ball. And then I might add, they have the number one quarterback in the class, Dylan Raiola. They have two top 10 running backs in the 2024 class committed. This is becoming one of the more special classes that we've seen in modern recruiting history. And even back in the spring, we were talking about tracking this class to be one of the best that we've seen. And it certainly seems like Georgia is on track. We're going to talk Kristopher Jones, and then we're going to talk about a few other top five-star guys that might be committing to the Georgia Bulldogs later this week as well. Now, before we get into it, just want to say thank you to you guys. It's been, especially the Georgia fans, all the Go Dogs in the comment section, all the support you guys have shown truly does mean a lot. Trying to break down as many of these commitments and dive into the film as we can. And the support you guys have shown truly does mean a lot. So if you do enjoy the content, you enjoy the updates, consider subscribing to the channel. That supports the boys in a big way. And let's get into Kristopher Jones. And DeMarcus Riddick flips his commitment from Georgia to Auburn late last week. What does Kirby Smart do in response? He goes out and gets the number one linebacker in the country in Justin Williams. Then he goes out and gets Kristopher Jones, a top 10 linebacker in the country, a top 100 nationally ranked dude. And Kristopher Jones is a very exciting prospect that, when I dug into the film this morning, kind of fits what Kirby Smart, Glenn Schumann want to do with these linebackers on the defense side of the ball. Georgia is known for getting downhill with their linebackers, blitzing them off the edge, blitzing them in the A and B gaps, and that's exactly what Kristopher Jones does. Before we get into the film, I just want to talk about the physical traits that make up Kristopher Jones and why I think he is such a special prospect. One, 6'2", 220 pounds, perfect frame. Like, he's probably going to get up to 230, but he has that length. He clocked in a 4.5 40-yard dash at one of the camps this spring. So he has that sideline-to-sideline speed, and that's really becoming such an important aspect of the linebacker game at the college football level and in the NFL level. Like, you need to be fast. You need to be able to play in space, carry tight ends, tackle running backs in the flat. I kind of repeat myself a lot with this, but it's becoming a very important aspect of playing a linebacker, especially in the SEC. Kristopher Jones certainly checks that box. And then you go take a look at what has he actually done on the high school football field Friday nights. Junior year, I don't know if I've seen a more productive linebacker in the country. 142 tackles, 26 tackles for a loss, and 10 sacks. Kristopher Jones finds the football. He has extremely good instincts. But what I love mostly about him is just how downhill he gets, how physical he gets, because that is what embodies what a Georgia linebacker is going to be asked to do in Athens. Now, we're going to jump into the film and then take a look at this class. But Kristopher Jones, just such a fun film study to watch. You're going to see him come off the edge here. He's a guy that you can use in so many different ways, right? Coming off the edge, wins around the edge, nice burst and bend around that tackle, makes the sack. Then you see him playing off-ball linebacker here, triggering downhill. Again, he seems so comfortable working downhill, finding the football. So that's exactly what you want in this Georgia defense. You see him playing off the edge again, really, really comfortable with that closing speed from the backside, making a big play. This is a guy that lives behind the line of scrimmage, and that's exactly what you want in a Georgia linebacker. Playing off ball here. I mean, really, I didn't even have to take on a block. Just, I mean, you take a look back at that play. I mean, you normally have to stack and shed this block. He's just too fast. That guard can't even put a hand on him. Goes and makes a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Really good instincts. Really good ability to play in space. Coming off the edge again. Just absolutely bull. I would not have, like, if I'm a high school coach, like, I'm not putting a tight end in pass pro on a guy like Kristopher Jones. Like, that wasn't fair. He just lives behind the line of scrimmage. This is a dude that I love the versatility. I love his ability to just find the football. He has really good instincts. And you couple good linebacker instincts with the ability. I mean, this guy could play edge if he wanted to. I mean, he's so comfortable coming off the line. I mean, he just makes his tackle miss. And then he beats the running back. They tried to chip with the running back too, and they couldn't even make that work. Sideline to sideline speed. I don't know if he doesn't check off any of the boxes. I guess the only thing we haven't really seen on the film is him dropping back in coverage. I don't have question marks about that with the 4.5 speed, the 6'2 frame. This guy just, he pretty much has everything you want in a linebacker, taking on a block, going out and finding the football, very sure tackler. Man, you take a look at this Georgia Bulldogs class, and it's been such a fun ride for the Georgia Bulldogs, and we're just continuing to update this class and monitor this class. I want to talk a little bit about how, before we get into the guys Georgia's still trending for, which is absolutely insane that they got 26 commitments, multiple 5-star guys, and they're still going after top 5-star talent. 26 commitments. Most of these classes, you can go take a look at Michigan, right? They don't have a single cornerback committed in their class. You can go take a look at Ohio State, maybe some room to work in the offensive line department. You take a look at Georgia's class in 2024. I don't think you can find a hole in this class, right? You have the number one player in the country, quarterback Dylan Raiola. You have a phenomenal offensive line protecting him. I guess like one thing you could say is are they going to get another elite pass catcher? But when I'm looking at this class, you have Jaden Riddell, one of the top tight ends in this class. You scroll down a little bit, Nigerian Tuggle, one of the elite wide receivers in the class. Naikar, another top 150 wide receiver. Maybe Georgia terms, that's not where they want to be. I think every other Power 5 school in the country would take this wide receiver, this pass catching class. And then you look at what the offense looks like in general with the elite running backs they have, trending for another guy, an amazing offensive line. And then on the defense side of the ball, you have the number one cornerback locked in. You have the number one linebacker locked in. You're trending for Williams Emoneri, who's the number one defensive lineman. It's just a complete class that you look at any position groups that they're maybe struggling in, you can't really find it. Now, I want to talk about what this class could be and where we're trending. And I want to talk about two guys who are scheduled to commit in the next 7 days. And the first guy we're going to go to is the 5-star safety, KJ Bolden from Buford, Georgia. It still sounds like Georgia is in the lead for this one. And this just seems like a one Kirby Smart wins out, right? Top in-state player on the defensive side of the ball in the state of Georgia. I have a hard time seeing the Georgia Bulldogs not winning this recruiting battle. Right, I know Ohio State's in there. I know Florida State's lurking. I know he was on campus at Auburn. In my mind, he's committing August 5th. It's really hard to see Georgia Bulldogs not winning this one, especially with Dylan Raiola playing with him at Buford. Then the next guy I want to talk about, and this gets just legitimately wild for Georgia. You already have two top 10 running backs in the class already locked in, and they're trending for another one, Nate Frazier from Mater Dei. And you take a look at this kid. He's probably my favorite running back in the class. On3 has him as the number one running back in the 2024 class from Mater Dei. Top 50 guy on the 24/7 Sports composite. Checks off all the boxes. He has the track speed, 5'11", 210 pounds. You take a look at what that running game could be with the massive offensive linemen they have, with the three elite running backs that they have, and then you give Dylan Raiola that good of a run game. That's like the perfect recipe for one, getting the best out of Dylan Raiola, because we always say it, the best friend of a quarterback is a good run game. But man, you look at this Georgia class in 2024 and you're taking a look at where this program is going. Hard to see them not being on top of this sport for a really, really long time. Kirby Smart has everything going in the right direction. They're building a massive, massive class in 2024 and a really special class. So you take a look at that class. They're not just taking guys. Like, they're taking guys who are top 150, top 100 dudes, 5-star kind of guys. And then when they do take a lower ranked guy and you go back to this class, and that's something I want to say, like, Georgia took a lot of these guys who are lower on their list. They took these guys early, right? Like, Colton Henrick from Fort Lauderdale, the tight end. That was a guy they took early, like, I believe late spring. He committed, late May. Like, that's the thing. Like, that wasn't we need to fill the tight end room, we need to go get him. No, they have him as a high guy on their board. That's why they go out and get him. So even the guys that are lower in their class, these are dudes that Kirby Smart and this defense and this coaching staff in general, we're saying these guys are high on our board. We're going to go get them and make them priorities. When they get them all late and you get them in November and they sign in December, maybe those are late takes. These weren't late takes. These were guys that they sought after, really, really liked, dig their work on. So you take a look at this class for the Georgia Bulldogs, and it's absolutely dynamite. It's trending in the right direction, and we might be back soon talking about some more Georgia commitments relatively soon. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys as usual. And if you do enjoy the content, you enjoy the updates, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate y'all, and we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.